AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride! Woo!
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. We are live today at Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Do we call it the mothership here?
This would be the mothership.
The main office right there, looking at everybody driving down I-10 with the. Is that Penny?
That is Penny out there.
Penny is the big inflatable. I can't see with the wall here. What other inflatables we got out there?
I think we have Buddy the Elf. We have the Grinch. We have Santa. We have reindeer.
Smiling's my favorite.
Oh yeah, we have a bunch, and we have a nativity scene. You know, we got to mix the commercial with the Christian. Both,
of course,
you know.
The flags. You came in. Look, that white SUV. They're listening, no doubt. We're waving at you right there on I-10. Do you ever just sit in your office here and just look at the traffic?
I do. You know, obviously as a car accident lawyer, I like to watch traffic. And sometimes I'll call my marketing and say, hey, why are cases down and calls down? And I look outside and go, okay, I see now.
Yeah, man.
And during COVID, it was just sit up here and nobody was on the road.
When I earlier in my radio career, I was at the Xerox building right here, and so our studio at what was then 1210, the score 1210 was, I mean, basically the same view from the fourth floor, just looking right over there. You can get mystified just looking at I-10 from time to time. We could get mystified looking at this coaching search as well. My goodness! So the last time you and I talked, you were on the show. We were over at Courts a Table. And that was shortly after Brian Kelly had been fired, maybe a week or so after he had been fired.
Yeah.
From then to now, how would you describe, let me say, your involvement in whatever happened?
Right. Well, first, that little video segment, you know, that gathered a lot of interest out there.
Your comments?
Just the whole thing that I was talking and kind of lifting, the people said you lifted up the curtain. We could understand a little bit more about what was actually happening, what the real story was. And I got a lot of people who appreciated that part and appreciated the defense of Scott Woodward and some of those things. So I think it was a good thing that we did. I don't
know if you know this, G.
What?
A lot of people listen and watch. There's a lot of people.
But, you know, for them to reach out to me and go, man, thank you for doing that great episode. I learned something. Thanks for standing up for Scott and things like that. It was a little interesting to me that people actually reached out and told me that, right? So I think that was a good thing that we did that. Since that time, and you and I may have had a few conversations, maybe not here and there, trying to understand the chaos of the coaching circle, right, and what was happening. On that show, I said, you know, I'm hopeful we would get Lane Kiffin, and I think he's great for LSU. I think we had to make a stand, right? If we're going to announce to the public we're still relevant, we are still one of the top 3 or 4 programs, we had to go do something like this. Because it's amazing. It's kind of like, you know, when you're making an investment and you get these returns and 10%. If you have one down year wipes out everything, right, immediately. And it takes you another 5 years to get back to where you were. And I think that's kind of what happened. We fell really far, really fast. Right, if you think about it.
Sure.
I mean, I don't think we were being thought of like that anymore. But I think the hiring of Coach Kiffin certainly puts us back in a lot of conversations. Right. We had some of the players out here today for our bike giveaway, and I say, "Hey guys, what are you thinking?" And they were all very positive of what they think it'll be for the future of LSU.
Yeah. There's no. So I don't. Have you gotten to meet Lane yet?
I'm scheduled to meet him this week.
Okay. Yeah. So I only know him just from interviewing him at SEC Media Days. Like I can't tell you that I know Lane Kiffin, right? I've interviewed him. He's been on the show, press conferences. But I have an impression of him, like I think a lot of people do, because he's been very public. What are your impressions of Lane Kiffin? I was going to ask you if you had any personal, but if you haven't met him yet. But so, what are your impressions outside in? Then?
Well, obviously, he seems to be an offensive genius type, right? And then when you talk to people, and they say he just seems a little different, not rude, just a little different. And I think that probably goes hand in hand with his creativity and his passion on the field. I hear he's somewhat introverted, right? And he's not going to be out and about doing all these things. And big into his family and his yoga and things like that.
Right.
So, doesn't duck hunt from what I hear, doesn't fish from what I hear, doesn't golf from what I hear. So
he's coaching football.
Yeah, I guess I'm not going to have a whole lot in common with him. So.
Me either.
But hopefully he's a good guy, and we'll break bread and talk about things.
Do you, Gordon McKernan's with us. We're here at Gordon's office today for the bicycle giveaway, which we'll talk about here in just a quick second. It's an awesome thing that Gordon does. We've been talking about it for weeks and weeks, but every year the philanthropy around the holidays gives away 600 bicycles. So we'll talk about that here in just a quick second. One of the things that I find fascinating throughout this process is when last we spoke, one of the big, called a controversy, maybe for lack of better words, was Brian Kelly's buyout, and then what the LSU was going to pay for a new coach, and of course the governor made his comments and all, and then here we are, with the perception like LSU can't afford whatever, and then Lane Kiffin, $91 million contract. Here's Charlie Weiss, 3 years, $7.5 million contract. Blake Baker's up north of 3 now as well. Where'd all the money come from?
Well, I think that the department that Scott had run for years was well run, right? It was profitable, and it was profitable to a good extent. When you look at the other universities around the country, I mean, he had it placed in the top, right? So you've got surplus there. Plus, some of these things were already built into future budgets. I'm not saying the buyout was built in, but certainly we're continue to pay him. So that the $800,000 a month or whatever we're paying is built in, and then they'll fold this money in. I think there's still more money to be squeezed from different places and from the business infrastructure as well as the donors and businesses. I think more people are excited and getting involved and coming to not the rescue, but coming to support the program from what I'm understanding. So I think there's the big donors are still very committed, and you're bringing in some new blood from what I hear. Can
you elaborate just because that is sort of the fascinating thing that I think our audience appreciates so much, like your perspective and candor is that's a side of this that most people never see, right? That happens with handshakes and conversations that are very rarely ever done in the public, but what is it? What is sort of the feeling among the people who are generous benefactors of the athletic department and the LSU football program since Lane Kiffin was hired? Maybe relative, because the other thing you said the last time when we were at Court to Table was, I think the way you said it was you were losing money either way.
Yeah.
If you kept Brian Kelly, the suites were empty, the seats were empty, but if you got rid of him, you're going to have to pay the buyout.
Right.
So either way. So what are the conversations like among those circles now that LSU has hired Lane Kiffin?
Yeah. Well, there's obviously certain financial realities that we have to deal with, and I think there's a plan in there to do that, but it does have to be met with enthusiasm and support from the donor base, from big business owners all the way down to the mom and pops, and we've talked about that some, where Ole Miss does a really good job of getting that intermediate, donor to give. The everyday banker, lawyer, attorney who might give 25 or 50 or 100. They're really, really good at that. So I think that has come into play where you're starting to see more of that, a bigger widespread, because I think there's a lot more excitement for Lane Kiffin and what he's going to bring to Tiger Stadium as compared to his predecessor, right?
No, I'm sorry. Was it similar do you remember if it was similar when Brian Kelly was hired?
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't like this.
It wasn't as much juice.
No.
Why do you think that is?
I think because you watch.
That was a coup. I mean, winning as coach in Notre Dame history, all that stuff.
Yeah, we hear that, but there's a difference when you watch. And it's probably the age of social media and how good he is online. I mean, just yesterday with Michigan, he's able to generate excitement and following. Is he not?
The Portnoy tweet.
I mean, just that.
I love him on Twitter, but see, I'm a troll. Like, I mean, I've got this whole brand around me now that just trolls Alabama fans.
I know, but it's great.
Alabama fans can't quit me. Like, they don't know how to quit me.
Right, and I think to some degree, college football can't quit Lane.
That's a good way to put it.
And now, LSU faithful, we can't quit him. We hadn't barely got to know him, but we're already hooked. Yeah. Right? Yeah, it's just different.
He's just got to win now.
He's got to win.
But you know what? It is going to be great for this show.
Yeah, I turned 60 next year, and my wife has graciously said, it's the year of you. And I want to chase fish a lot, fly fish a lot. And I had a big trip set up for next November to go to New Zealand and fish. And I know the schedule's coming out tonight, and I had to hold, said, I don't know who we play in November.
Oh, you don't know yet?
No.
Oh, I'll tell you in the break.
Yeah, okay. And if we're playing Alabama in November, we're playing Ole Miss. I'm not going to fish and not
Ole Miss, but Alabama, yes.
Okay. See right there. I'm not going to miss that game.
Yeah, it's going to be
right.
something.
I mean, we're 8-0 and they're 8-0. Yeah, you got to be in Tiger Stadium.
Tiger Stadium or New Zealand to fish.
Yeah, I'm going Tiger Stadium, right?
New Zealand will always be there, right?
Exactly.
New Zealand's
but the first time that that heads-up match, no.
Can you go fly fishing in December? When's fly fishing season? I don't know.
New Zealand, you can do it in December.
Okay,
yeah.
what about January?
Yeah, you can do it in January.
Might be playing in mid-January.
I know, but it messes up the whole thing.
So you go to February?
It's starting to change a little bit in February.
When's it start?
It starts in October, so you can't go. So
no, October I think will be a good time to go. You can miss Kentucky.
I can miss Kentucky. You're right.
You wouldn't want to miss Auburn, though.
Yeah, I don't want to miss Auburn, Ole Miss, Texas A&M. Yes, yeah, I'm done.
Well, A&M's not on the schedule next year.
Yeah.
Remember, it's rotated off.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, no, A&M's on. No, A&M's on.
Yeah.
Who's Oklahoma's off?
Oklahoma's off. Tennessee is on. Yeah. We're going to play them away. I don't know when. But
let me just see. You don't want to miss November.
Okay, see?
You don't want to miss November.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
You don't want to miss November.
Yeah, I don't want to miss November.
Why am I telling you things you don't know? That's ridiculous. Gordon McKernan is with us. We're here at Gordon's office today because it's the bicycle giveaway, giving away 600 bikes across the state of Louisiana to children all across the state, which is an awesome thing. Let me knock out a break. We'll come back. We'll talk with G a little bit more about that. And I want to talk about the G team and his role in NIL as LSU moves into this new era of true third-party NIL, something he's done really, really well now for 4 years already. We'll continue with Gordon McKernan on AFR.
AFR.
Thinking about selling your home? Call Darren James and get your home sold. I was visiting with Darren earlier today. It's pretty amazing when you think about this. I know I've given you this imagery before, but if you fill up Tiger Stadium 15 times, that's how many realtors there are in America. Darren James is number 14 in America in volume, the number of homes sold. It's incredible when you think of it that way, but it's a testament to the way he works, his ability to communicate with people, the systems, the processes that he has in place, his efficiency, and his ability to get to a closing table and get your home sold faster for more money. If you need to sell your home, you need Darren James. 335-7666. This is Darren's cell, by the way. 335-7666. 335-7666. Or online at agent225.com. Agent225.com. If you need to sell your home, you need the best, you need Darren James. Again, agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
Glad you're rolling along with us here. We're at Gordon McKernan Injury Attorney's Office. Our Thursday shows are presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Check out our friends Blazion and the whole team over at Decision Critical all over the state of Louisiana. They opened up their Dallas office as well. Ooh. It's not just healthcare, it's healthcare for your lifestyle. You know them?
Yeah.
They're awesome, man. Blazion does an awesome job.
Great job. I need to go ahead and hire for about 22 years from now. When I'm 81 or 82, because my wife has told me she's going to hire me the best help. She's just not going to give me the help. So I need to go ahead and do that.
If we're being honest, do you want your wife at the same age as you taking care of you? Or would you rather have a professional nurse?
I think I'd rather have a professional nurse.
No doubt, right? Like, let your wife enjoy life with you
let her,
at 80, whatever the case may be. But thanks to Blazion and the team. They're awesome over there. DecisionCriticalBR.com. Don't let the BR fool you. They're all over the state of Louisiana. I told her she needs to amend the website. Like, you got to drop the BR because it's the whole state.
Good point.
Hey, this is, I love coming here, and your team does a great job of putting this event on. But why, I know we've talked about it, but the 600 bicycles, why was that the philanthropy around the holidays?
It was a childhood memory of receiving a bike and just love the bike. And somehow through life, I thought of that as a way to give back. And as the business grew and it was more successful, kind of became a bigger, I don't want to call it a burden, but a bigger thought on me. Why not do something? Why not make a difference for a family or a young boy, a young girl here in Louisiana? And it somehow just came together. I can't explain it. It just bikes.
Was this the first big piece of philanthropy that you did?
Yeah, that was. Obviously you give to your church, you support things like that, cancer causes. My dad had cancer and things like that, so was very involved in those things. But community-wide, giving back, something like that. Yeah,
I mean, you do so much. It's one of the things that I have told our audience. I think everybody sees you very publicly. TV billboards that and obviously I think your profile is probably elevated even more in the NIL era. Is that fair to say?
I would think so.
But one of the things that is I've got to know you just on a more personal level is like you're, and I don't mind saying that, but you're a genuinely good person who likes to help people. Mm-hmm. I think you do look for opportunities to help people in these different communities. I mean, your logo's everywhere. I mean, I can do the Down Syndrome Awareness Buddy Walk, and there's Gordon's got a tent, and then I go, my son plays a Miracle League, and Gordon's sponsoring the field. Right. I mean, I guess it's kind of an obvious question, but why do you feel it's so important to be that involved in all the different things?
Yeah. I would think, an example of my father being a real heart-forward guy. He was just willing to help people. I witnessed that growing up. Him just. Taking up causes, so to speak, for people. And then I think becoming aware of things through my faith and just developing as a Christian, and you start really understanding what it means to love people, right? Sounds silly, but that's what it is. It's just what it is.
Everyone needs to do that.
Yeah, how can you love others, right? And you can pray for people, and you can do acts of kindness and acts of service, and then you could be benevolent and just give. And so we try to incorporate all of that here inside the law firm as well as my family, right? I don't think you could do one. You should do them all. You should pray for people. You should love people by telling them you love them, by showing them you love them, getting involved. So that's what we try to do here.
I love that, man. That's really well said. And I will clumsily transition by saying, and when you love the Tigers, you give it NIL deals and stuff like that. No, but that's another piece of all this, because it's part of the NIL stuff that you've done. Is not just. I remember we talked about the first NIL deal you did was with Kayshawn.
No, Alexis Morris was actually my first.
Oh, that's right. Alexis was first.
And that was
but still, she was awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was also go do something different. Yeah. If I'm going to do it, I hadn't done NIL. I was like, all right, I'm going to do Alexis.
Yeah.
And something different. And then the Kayshawn thing blew up. By the way, he called me the other day and said, I want you to come up to a playoff game. I mean, think about where he was, the gambling and all that, because we helped him through some of those things. And for him to basically say, you stood by me. Right. Yeah. And so that's great. May I go see him and Will, and that'd be great.
Yeah. He just needed to get healthy, man.
He did.
It's one of those where you think and wonder, the what if, the injury at Kentucky and how dominant he was.
People don't realize how fast and how strong he was out of cut. He was different.
Very similar. I would say this when you talk about that coming out of you were saying Jamar. I was going to say Jarvis Landry. Jarvis Landry is the one that I always think of. Jarvis trained with Mac Chiwilli over at Traction. I remember having this conversation with Mac because they would track that. They could put you on machines to track. And the thing about Jarvis is typically when you cut and change direction, you decelerate. Mm-hmm. And Jarvis didn't decelerate. The reason he gained separation, he was not a straight line fast guy.
He kept his speed.
Yeah. It's incredible to see things like that. But so Lane Kiffin, obviously, new hire at LSU. What do you suspect your role will be in the NIL space, in this third part of this true third-party NIL?
I'm not sure. I'm happy to help and happy to get involved. I know they've talked to me a little bit about with the clearinghouse and those things that, getting the dollars to the players in the appropriate manner that's approved by the clearinghouse is important. So I think they want to see some of my ideas and how I've done it and how you can implement it, because I think there's a lot of ways to be creative to allow more businesses to come to the NIL space, right? You don't have to always put someone on a billboard or in a commercial or social media. Those are great, but there are some creative ways I think that we can do it.
Yeah. But it's interesting because you've done both. Mm-hmm. You've been a benefactor of the collective, which in just the pay for play NIL, right? You fund the collective pays players. You can't do that anymore.
Right.
But you've also done the true third-party NIL, which you have your whole team that's organized that and made sure the deliverables were executed. And so you've done what a lot of athletic departments are trying to figure out right now. You've been doing that for 4 years. So when you think about what you were contributing to the collective, you told me one time what you were doing in NIL. Did you he's cracked 7 figures
given years. Yeah.
In true, third party. It's like, would you, like, do you increase? Do you take the collective money and put it into NIL? Do you expand? What do you do?
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure. I guess I'll figure that out as I go. I'm still very committed to the programs that I've been supporting, the women's gymnastics, which is great, and women's basketball, men's baseball, and football. Those 4 I still want to do, and little one-offs. I'll do a cheerleader. I'll do a chess player, something, just something silly, whatever.
You've done great. You've done deals with track athletes.
Yeah, track athletes. Yeah.
Gymnast, Tiger Girls. Right. We've had them all on the show.
Yeah. I like good, compelling stories. You're a journalist, right? Yeah. When you see a compelling story, you want to tell about it. And I want to do the same thing. I want people to know about it, but I want to be there with them, so to speak. How do you
think, or where do you think LSU is positioned in the new era of NIL moving forward?
No, I think they're positioned well. I think Austin Thomas and what he was doing was ahead of what the other people were doing. And I think, from what I understand, the gentleman coming in from Ole Miss, Billy, I haven't met him, but I hear good things about him. So I think they're kind of cut from the same cloth. And I think you have to be that. I think you have to have a general manager mentality to some extent, right? A salary cap guru to some extent on how you're doing this. And you don't want to overpay for an NIL kid coming in and transfer portal, because that can eat up a lot of your payroll, so to speak.
When you said you're going to meet with Lane Kiffin, I guess, and you'd meet with Billy Glasscock, the new GM, as well. So
I think a lot of, it's not just me. There are lots of people. I think they're doing the right thing. Get out, meet the boosters and the business people in the community, and just cast their vision.
I've had quite a few conversations so far in the last week with people who have had those types of meetings. Yeah. So it's generally Lane and the GM, Billy. Yeah. And the thing that's so interesting, the word that so many people keep using about Billy Glasscock, they keep saying he's so impressive. Yeah, like, I've heard people say, like, so many people use that word, impressive, and how detail-oriented and thorough in the plan they have to put everything together. What are you maybe hoping to hear or see from Lane or from the GM? Or is there anything?
What I kind of talked about with Austin, you see the plan, and Austin had a big board with everything. I want to see that same type of mentality where they want to be frugal, and they're just not going to be spendthrifts, like the Michigan guy throwing $3.5 million at Bryce Underwood. That's, you know what I mean? I think Coach Kiffin can see you probably don't need to do things like that, right? Yeah. So being smart and frugal with the dollars and spending them well, kind of the old New England Patriot model.
Yeah, Moneyball, I guess, maybe.
Yeah, Moneyball.
Maybe a little
like
bit
that. Yeah, you don't need the all-star first baseman if he costs you this, but he's only doing that. Yeah.
All right. Before you go, and I appreciate you for carving out time for us here. You mentioned baseball as we sort of transition into that. What do you think about Coach Jay's team this year?
I'm excited. I saw him as coach. I know we kind of talked some numbers, but if you want more, I'm open, because your recruiting class and what you're doing is just special. Really excited.
Yeah, that's one that I look at, and that's in this era. That's the one that I think everybody looks at and goes, all right, because baseball has to win here.
Yes.
There is no, and Jay Johnson knows this. There's no middle ground.
That's it.
It's not, if baseball's not good, people aren't just gonna be like, oh well, we're football. No, they got to be good. Yeah. But in the rev share era, football eats up such a gigantic chunk of that money, so you have to do true third-party NIL at the level that's going to allow you to compete.
Yeah. And you need someone like Jay who will just roll up the sleeves, get to work, and say, I get it. Do I like it? Do I think it's fair? Do I think I should get more? No, but I'm going to go out and do it.
Yeah.
And he will work, and he will do it. So I love that about him. He doesn't make excuses, doesn't complain, just gets about the business and does the work. So excited about it. I can see Helmer's in the back shaking his head. Wish he had another year of eligibility, but, they need someone who can throw faster than 78.
I was about to say, bro, I love Will Helmers. I don't think Will Helmers is seeing a bump on his team.
Got the double bird in front of him.
I don't know about that, man.
No, 78 was your curve, right? What is your changeup? That was your fastball.
He went out on a high, man.
But he had complete control at all times.
No doubt. Yeah. It's not how hard you can throw. You got to know where it's going to go.
That's right.
Like old Rick Vaughn.
Yeah.
Gordon McKernan, we appreciate it. Thanks for having us out here. We always appreciate you, man.
Merry Christmas, brother.
Merry Christmas. Yep. We appreciate it. It is After Further Review. We're at Gordon's office. We're presented by Decision Critical. We're going to knock out a quick break. We'll come back and continue on a Thursday edition of AFR.
AFR.
I want to remind you about the Watermark and the Renaissance. Watermark downtown, Renaissance Southtown, as they say, right there on Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge. But, the Watermark Baton Rouge is gorgeous, man. It's Baton Rouge's premier hotel property. It was rated and voted by you in the Best of 225 as the best hotel in Baton Rouge. And not only is it a great place to stay, holidays are here. If you got family, friends coming in from out of town, make sure they know that you can stay downtown. Actually, drove right by Watermark earlier today. Beautiful day in downtown Baton Rouge. It's walking distance to restaurants and shopping and all the different historical sites in downtown Baton Rouge. And it's an amazing place to host whatever event that you have coming up. If it's a wedding reception, if it's a board meeting, if it's a fundraiser, any type of gala, Watermark Baton Rouge, downtown Baton Rouge is exquisite. Just walk in, have a glass of wine or a cocktail at the lobby bar, have dinner at the Gregory right there in the lobby, or Milford's on 3rd, which is the sort of more casual sandwich shop. You can't miss when you're at Watermark Baton Rouge.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
We roll along here, a Thursday edition of AFR, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Not just healthcare for your lifestyle. From birth, you're bringing home a newborn baby, you need to sleep at night. Their expertly trained nurses can take care of your newborn through the night. Maybe it's end-of-life care. Maybe you've received a tough diagnosis, whatever it may be. Maybe you've had surgery and you need help post-op carrying out your physician's orders in the home. The expertly trained nurses at Decision Critical can help. They can even do things like therapeutic phlebotomy. If you're on HRT like I am and you need to give blood, they can come do that at your home or office to save you time. IV therapy, they can come to your home or office. It saves you time. It's so convenient. It's Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. DecisionCriticalBR.com. DecisionCriticalBR.com. If you missed it, we had Louis Riddick with us last hour of ESPN. He was one of the ones who was maybe the most bullish on Tyler Shuck throughout the draft process. Great conversation with Louis Riddick. If you missed it, highly recommend you check that out. We will have Mike Triplett 1 hour from right now as we kind of preview Saints-Panthers coming up this weekend. But the latest Saints injury report is out. Saints-Panthers in advance of the game. The big news a day ago was that Taliesin Fuaga returned to practice for New Orleans. Here on Thursday, Alvin Kamara, Asim Richards were DNPs, which has been the case. Kamara with the knee and ankle designation did not practice. Asim Richards hurt his ankle in the game last week in the win against Tampa, did not practice. Devon Gotcha also a DNP, but that's been consistent throughout the course of the season. He just gets a veteran rest day. So nothing wrong with Devon Gotcha, just a rest day. The rest of the injury report, the great news on this injury report is that Justin Reed was back at practice. Now, he was limited, but he was practicing. So he's got the knee injury. He missed last week. He was a DNP on Wednesday. DNP, if you don't, did not participate or did not practice. So he was a DNP on Wednesday. And so the concern generally is if you're not at least out there in a limited capacity by Friday, you're moving around doing football-adjacent things, you're probably not going to play on Sunday. So the fact that Justin Reed was back out there here Thursday in a limited capacity is really good news. That's an upgrade from a day ago when he was when he DNP'd. Chris Rumph was upgraded from limited to full. And then Taliesin Fuaga and Devin Neal both practiced in a limited capacity both days this week, Wednesday and Thursday. So Saints are trending in a really good direction. The Carolina Panthers, meanwhile, they are about as healthy a team as you can imagine. They had they had 5 players listed on their injury report with an injury designation, but all 5 were full participants on Thursday. Chairless, a linebacker with a concussion. J.C. Horn, concussion, was full. Cade Mays, their center, ankle injury, full. Lathan Ransom, their safety, thumb injury, full. And then Christian Roseboom, a linebacker with a hip hamstring, was a full. So no limitations at all from Carolina on their injury report as the Saints still try to get a little healthier. But again, the good news there is is that Justin Reed was able to get out there and practice for New Orleans. Meanwhile, Kellen Moore met with reporters after practice on Wednesday, and maybe the biggest question was about Alvin Kamara, who, again, has not been out there, but he was asked if Kamara has a shot to get out there and play this weekend.
Yeah, obviously we haven't done IR, so we're shooting for that, and we'll just see how this thing progresses. You never want to throw timelines on things and make them concrete, and he's doing everything he can.
Did he say concrete? I'm pretty sure I heard him say concrete. You want to make it concrete or concrete? Muse, we're gonna have to save that one for posterity. Ellen just said concrete.
Ellen Moore.
Can you play the concrete again? I just want to make sure I heard concrete.
You never want to throw timelines on things and make them concrete. And
Muse, you can open your mic. Have you ever heard anyone say concrete?
No. Concrete is a new one for me, for sure. Yes.
He's from is Ellen from Idaho? I know he played at Boise State, but he's from somewhere.
He's from Washington. From
Washington State, but he's in a rural part of Washington, right? He's from Prosser, Washington. That's it. Prosser, Washington. But see, here's the thing. Like, I've heard cement and cement. I've heard the emphasis on different syllables there. But concrete and concrete, we're going to have to save that one, man. I need concrete saved forever because I need to find someone else in humanity who says concrete. Can I hear it one more time?
you never want to throw timelines on things and make them concrete. He's doing everything he can. He's doing everything he can.
I mean, I guess there's complete, so there can be concrete. But Ellen, doing work out there.
I also feel like with cement and cement, it's in different contexts. Like when someone's actually talking about cementing a driveway, it's cement. But if you're going to cement yourself, like I feel the context is different there.
So maybe that might be true for some people, but the actual pronunciation of the word is cement. In the South, we put the emphasis on the first syllable and say cement, but the correct pronunciation is cement. That is how you actually I had this conversation with Dan Bournet for many years because there were people who listened to him as the voice of Tiger Stadium for many years because he would say Tigers or whoever penalized, and people would say, why does he say penalized instead of penalized? Well, if you go look in Webster, the preferred pronunciation of the word is penalized, not penalized. It's like the penal system. So that's why he always said penalized. I've had that conversation with him. So anyway, cement, we have really deviated, but that's okay. Cement is the preferred pronunciation of the word, not cement. But in the South, we tend to say cement. So for whatever, maybe like pecan or pecan, or pecan, whatever, pecan, whatever. Tomato. It's After Further Review. We're glad that you're hanging out with us here. We will hit Tigers and the Pros here in just a smidge. And Willie Fritz, by the way, this is going to actually work out really well because my voice is totally crap. And Willie Fritz is a guy who talks like a coach who's yelled for 50 years. So that's awesome. We're actually going to match each other. So Willie Fritz is coming up here in 20 minutes from right now at the start of hour number 3. We'll also have Mike Triplett coming up in hour 3. Got to remind you about our friends at Our Lady of the Lake, championship health partner of LSU Athletics, OLOLRMC.com/LSU, OLOLRMC.com/LSU. Our Lady of the Lake welcomes Coach Kiffin and the Kiffin family to Baton Rouge, and as they are preparing for the first season, of course, Our Lady of the Lake, championship health partner of LSU, always preparing to take care of the champions on the floor, on the field, on the court. On the field, on the diamond, and in the classroom, and everyday champions like you and me all over the state of Louisiana. Part of the Franciscan Missionaries of Our Lady Health System, Our Lady of the Lake has expertly trained physicians, standalone hospitals like the Our Lady of the Lake Regional Medical Center on Essen, the Children's Hospital in town, the Lake Urgent Care facilities all over Greater Baton Rouge. It's Our Lady of the Lake and LSU. Together, we roar. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. If you have missed the biggest story in the college football world, maybe the sports world, is what's happening at Michigan with Sharon Moore, and obviously the the trickle-down effect and how it touches LSU potentially is going to be interesting. And everyone is asking questions about Bryce Underwood, who, as you all know, was a longtime LSU commitment for a solid year before flipping to Michigan. Pete Nakos has a report out right now about Bryce Underwood's contract at Michigan, that it does not have a buyout. So I did explain this prior. A year ago when Bryce Underwood flipped, I was the first to report his contract, which was $12 million, because I just knew that the negotiations that went on between LSU and Bryce Underwood and what ultimately Michigan was offering. And they offered him the $12 million. And what we since learned is the way that was structured was Bryce Underwood did not get a lump sum of $12 million. That it was $3 million per year over 4 years. It was part of LSU's argument or conversation with Bryce Underwood, which was to say, sure, it's $12 million, but are you really going to stay there for 4 years? If you're in the NFL after 3, then it's not 12, it's 9. And LSU's offer was 1.5, if I remember correctly, 1.5 per year over 3 years. So, it would have been less, obviously, than what he was getting at Michigan, but the gap would have been closed, and was it really worth staying? And anyway, the point being is that for Bryce Underwood to get out of Michigan would not be cost prohibitive at this point, because he doesn't have a buyout of his deal, and he hasn't been given $12 million yet. He would have made $3 million this year, his first year at Michigan, thereabouts. So I do think that there are financial avenues for him to get out of Ann Arbor. It's just going to be a matter of, does he stay? And there is a comment that I've seen publicly here today from Bryce Underwood's father in the Pete Nakos interview that they are waiting to see who the new coach is going to be, who the hire is going to be, before they make a decision. Now, remember, the transfer portal opens on January the 2nd, and the portal window is open from January 2nd through the 15th, but you don't have to commit or sign with a school at that point. That you just have to be in the portal in that portal window. It is important to remember, however, that you are sort of adjacent to an academic calendar. So if you're going to go through spring football, you got to be enrolled in school for the spring semester, which, the late enrollees sometime, in late January. So we'll know in relatively short order what Bryce Underwood's plans are going to be, and if LSU could potentially reunite with Bryce Underwood with different coaching staffs a year later than we initially thought. All right, it's After Further Review, brought to you by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. We're here at Gordon McKernan Injury Attorney's office in Baton Rouge for the bike giveaway. 600 bicycles given to less fortunate children all over the state of Louisiana. What an awesome thing that Gordon and his team do. We're glad to be here to play a very small role in it today. Okay, we're going to knock out a quick break. When we come back, Muse will do Tigers and the Pros to wrap up hour number 2 next.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Glow Resources, GLO, glowresources.com, glowresources.com. They are complete employer solutions over at Glow Resources. If you are starting to budget for 2026, or you're thinking that ways that your business in 2026 can be more profitable, more efficient, Glow Resources can help. Because the reality is, you're only as efficient as your people. You have to have the right people in your business in the right seats on the bus. And Glow Resources, that is what they do. Jareth Knockan and his team are awesome. If it's skilled blue-collar labor, if it is their professional placement division, which can handle any type of office job from an office assistant to the C-suite, everything in between. If you want to find a permanent solution, not temp staffing, permanent solutions for your business, to find the right people to make you the most effective, let Glow Resources help. It's GLO, glowresources.com, glowresources.com, complete employer solutions.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
Wrapping up hour number 2. Glad to have you hanging out with us here today from the mothership, Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys, their main office right off of I-10 in Baton Rouge. If you're one of those poor unfortunate souls stuck in traffic on I-10, you see the big giant inflatable dog on the interstate, like we're in the lobby just looking right out at all of you. So we're waving, and you'll be safe out in the street today. We're glad you're with us. All right, Muse, Tigers and the Pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
All right, so Joe Burrow has made some waves here. It started back after the Bills defeated the Bengals, and Joe Burrow said post-game that he wanted to, quote, go have fun and play football. When he met with the media in his normal Wednesday spot, he expounded on that, and it has definitely turned some heads. Burrow says, quote, if I want to keep doing this, I have to have fun doing it. I've been through a lot, and if it's not fun, then what am I doing it for? So that's the mindset I'm trying to bring to the table, end quote. Certainly feels like Burrow, if nothing else, setting the stage for maybe a potential exit from Cincinnati, or is that even more a hint at potential early retirement? That doesn't really sound like the competitor that Joe Burrow is, but nonetheless, we will obviously keep you updated there. One update to pass along injury report-wise in the NFL for the former Tigers, and that is Grant Delpit. He was upgraded for the Cleveland Browns here on Thursday to limited. He's dealing with a groin and an illness. Did not practice a day ago, now upgraded to limited. Everybody else we gave you yesterday, Lloyd Cushenberry, Mason Taylor, none of their statuses changed here on Thursday. I guess one note with Taylor is he was a DMP with the neck and remained so maybe not looking great for him come Sunday. NBA action tonight. The Pelicans actually host the Trailblazers, so you'll see Duop Reith in the Smoothie King Center if you're watching that game or going to that game. And with the Houston Rockets, Tari Eason remains out with a right oblique strain. Latest update on him heading into this game with the Clippers is they're still targeting a late December return for Eason, but definitely before the new year of 2026. So we'll continue to keep you posted there. That's Tigers in the Pros.
We're presented by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com. Locations all over South Louisiana, so you're never far from a Shawbills location. You can look them up online. You can schedule service online. You can shop tires online. You can see their deals online. Hey, look, Christmas is just about here. Maybe you're heading home, heading out of town, going to see family. You want to make sure your vehicle is in great shape to keep you safe, get you where you're going safely, on time, with no issues, and safe with your family as well. Of course, name brand tires at wholesale prices. And if you need an oil change, your tires rotated, check engine lights on, brakes squeaking, anything going on with your vehicle, you need to get it checked out, you can bring it to Shawbills. Any of their locations across South Louisiana where they're going to sell you name brand tires at wholesale prices, and they'll keep you coming back year after year after year because they are just awesome, and they'll treat you like family. ShawBillsTire.com. ShawBillsTire.com. It's Shawbills, where we keep you rolling. The SEC schedule release is tonight, and so we often say that it's not just who you play, but it's when and where you play them. So tonight, we already know the who, right? We know the who LSU is going to play in the 9-game SEC schedule. They'll play 5 road conference games. We do know that Texas will come to Baton Rouge, Arkansas, and with Oklahoma rotating off, LSU, Arkansas. I think it's wink, wink, nod, nod, nudge, nudge. A safe assumption that LSU, Arkansas is going to go back to its that spot it had been traditionally to wrap up the regular season. If you hadn't figured that out by now, then I can't help you. Yes, that's a thing that's going to happen. A few things that are going to be fascinating. I do think, obviously, LSU's return to Oxford this year is going to be full tilt for all the reasons we know. And I do believe that's going to be a September matchup. I think, as I understand, November is going to be a bear for LSU. But it's going to be one of those things where you are going to be playing massive, games on the marquee every week in November. Bama expect to stay in November. I would not be surprised if the home game against Texas is in November. The road trip to Tennessee, as we mentioned, Arkansas. I think it's going to be a you better do your work in October and in September and October to make sure you get to November and leave yourself a little bit of cushion, because it's going to be a rough stretch to make through. But they can do it, so we'll see. And then, of course, Auburn, Kentucky, Mississippi State. we'll see where all those fall. Probably a good assumption that Auburn, Kentucky, October-type games would be a lot of fun. So we'll see tonight here in a couple of hours what the SEC slate is for the entire conference. Again, not just who you play, but when and where you play them. When's the bye? You get new coaches, new quarterbacks early in the season. That's generally beneficial. So we'll see how it all goes. Of course, LSU will open up the season in Tiger Stadium, open up the Kiffin era in Tiger Stadium against Clemson. So Clemson, McNeese, and as we told you several months back, I'm expecting, unless something changes, that Louisiana Tech will come back to Tiger Stadium again this year. Again, that until the contract's finalized, done, and they announce it, it's not done. But I think that's something that was certainly in discussions earlier in the fall, so we'll see if that does manifest that way. All right, it's After Further Review. We're wrapping up hour number 2. We're brought to you by our friends at Decision Critical, title sponsor of our Thursday shows all throughout the year, and they're all throughout Louisiana and now in Dallas as well. DecisionCriticalBR.com. Okay, we'll knock out our final break. Sports Center is coming up. We'll kick off hour number 3. Houston head coach Willie Fritz joins us after Sports Center.
AFR.
We're brought to you by South Point Volkswagen and SouthPointVW.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at SouthPointVW.com. SouthPointVW.com. Hey, listen, right now, the end of the year, an amazing time to buy a vehicle. Look, the 2025's got to go to make room for the 2026s, which are already arriving. So it is an awesome time to go make a deal on a brand new 2025 Volkswagen. How about some of the great deals going on at Volkswagen Deal Days right now? Like, how about 2026 Tiguan for 4.9%? Like I said, some of the 2026s are already in. But then what about sign then drive? 0 down, 0 due at signing, no security deposit, no first month's payment. You sign your name with little else, you're driving away in a brand new vehicle from South Point Volkswagen while sign then drive is going on. So take advantage of amazing deals. Get that new vehicle before the end of the year at South Point Volkswagen. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction?